per ton. Declines in global crude oil prices are putting pressure on vegetable oil values. That's generating declines in European rapeseed and Chicago soy oil, with both weighing on canola. Support for the Canadian oilseed is coming from increases in Chicago soybeans and soy meal, along with upticks in Malaysian palm oil. The Prairie weather forecast is calling for very little rain, if any, across the region. Daytime highs will range from the single digits Celsius in Manitoba to the upper teens in Alberta. The Canadian Grain Commission reports the influx of canola into the commercial pipeline continues to rise. As of October 9th, there's more than 1.43 million tons of canola, up 15.6% from the previous week. The Canadian dollar is lower, with the loonie falling back to 72.27 US cents compared to Thursday's close of 72.43. Due to the federal holiday in the United States, the U.S. Department of Agriculture issued its weekly export sales report this morning. For the week ending October 6th, soybean sales exceed 724,000 tons, along with nearly 492,000 tons of soy meal and 3,300 tons of soy oil. Also, the new marketing year for soy meal and soy oil began October 1st, with carryovers of more than 280,000 tons of soy meal and 10,200 tons of soy oil. Export sales of old crop corn are over 200,000 tons, plus 60,500 tons of new crop. Wheat sales are nearly 212,000 tons. Rounding off prices at the Chicago Board of Trade, soybean futures are higher on Friday. The November contract is up 1.5 cents at $13.97 per bushel. December soy oil drops back about 2/3 of a cent at 65.75 US cents per pound. December soy meal adds $5.40 at $4.1640 per short ton. Corn futures are lower, with the December contract losing 3 cents at $6.95 per bushel. Chicago oats are mixed, with its December contract down 4 cents at $4.04, while the March contract is slightly higher. The U.S. wheat complex is lower, as Chicago December steps back 8.5 cents at $8.84. Kansas City December loses a nickel at $9.77, and Minneapolis December is down 3 cents at $9.76. That's a look at the ICE futures and Chicago markets for Friday morning, October 14th. For Markets Farm in Winnipeg, I'm Glenn Halleck.
See more and do more in a new 300 Series compact track loader from New Holland. Its industry-leading 360-degree visibility is truly something to see at Butler Farm Equipment in Fort St. John. With its reverse camera and 8-inch multi-function LCD display, Super Boom lift technology, rock-solid stability, and redesigned controls, you'll work with greater speed, safety, and precision. Maximum productivity starts with a clear view. Stop by Butler Farm Equipment in Fort St. John today and see how a new 300 Series compact track loader helps you do more.
The opinions expressed during this show do not represent those of this station. If you've missed any of this show, you can follow the podcast at energeticcity.ca. Now, an in-depth look at the news and information shaping our community. This is Moose Talks with your host, Doug Craig, on Moose FM.
Welcome to the show. This is our final show before the local government elections tomorrow, and our final show in covering them. So we thought we'd turn our gaze over to Taylor, the town to the south, and talk a bit about their mayor race. There are two candidates running, current councillor Brent Taillefer and Peggy Alexander, who's running as well. And we're going to talk to Peggy first up here on Moose Talks, who joins me now from Taylor. Good morning, Peggy, and welcome to Moose Talks.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to chat with us. We'll start with kind of the obvious first question. Why are you running for mayor? What sort of motivated you to do so, to step up and put your name in the hat, as it were?
Well, I've always, the last few years, I've always wanted to run. Mm-hmm. The district of Taylor is important to me and my family. I have passion for service, and that is what has guided me into the mayor leadership race. Also, I think running for local government is one of the best ways to give back to the community and make a difference.
I see. Is there, any sort of specific issues that sort of motivated you as well? Something you'd really think would be important for you to try to accomplish if you were elected, or something you'd like to change if you were elected?
Well, I look forward to participating in all future projects, and some existing ones. Some more important to me than others, like access to medical care, the new or existing pool upgrades, etc. Safe passage for kids to cross the highway to go to school. Possibly a mini bus. It could also double as a seniors bus to Fort St. John. Those are some of the highlights for me.
Okay. Well, we'll start with access to medical care. Kind of first, is kind of one of the major issues facing really all of Northeast BC, but Taylor especially, since the medical clinic closed recently. I wonder, this is one of many issues that sort of face the region, that local government has little sort of actual jurisdiction over kind of how things work, but you kind of take on more of almost an advocate role. So I wonder what you think and what you see your role in trying to improve access to medical care in Taylor is, and how you might approach that sort of portfolio going forward, I suppose.
Well, definitely the access to the healthcare in Taylor is necessary. Technology supports similar to telehealth, can work in the short term with possibly the hiring of an RN or a nurse practitioner. Some of the recent changes to pharmacists' ability to renew certain prescriptions is promising.
Okay. Again, you kind of brought up the highway, which is interesting because, of course, connected to the highway is the Taylor Bridge, which has been an ongoing topic of discussion for a long time. I wonder if you would be willing to comment sort of on how you feel the current process is unfolding, I should say, with consultations, and maybe what you think would be the best option for the Taylor Bridge going forward, and what you would advocate for as mayor or with council.
Well, there's a lot of local and provincial support for the bridge. In August of 2022, Phase 1 reports is no commitment, more consultation, which leads to Phase 2. The Ministry of Transportation says over the next 6 months, detailed investigations, which include in-stream geotechnical work, environmental field assessments, and traffic data collection, will continue. I as well agree with all local and provincial elected leaders in their support of bridge replacement. I look forward to the Phase 2 final report this winter, and we'll continue the noise.
Okay. You mentioned the highway and sort of the making it safer for, kids who have to cross it, for example, to get across town or what have you. I wonder if you're concerned about the idea of maybe a 4-lane bridge and then 4 lanes then becoming the highway through Taylor. Is that something you'd be all right with, so long as we're very careful about making sure that it's safe? Or would you prefer to kind of keep the highway as is and continue to work on making that more safer?
Well, to be honest, I haven't really got much information about that. The highway as it exists is a safety hazard, especially to children having to cross it in order to go to school. I look forward to reading and researching the information that exists on the possibilities of the changes to the highway running through Taylor.
Okay. And I also wanted to make sure I asked you a bit about the curtailment at the pulp mill. Pulp mill represents a lot of jobs in Taylor, and a lot of sort of jobs are affected by the people who have jobs at the pulp mill. Again, this is sort of something that's not really in the jurisdiction of mayor and council in Taylor, but you're really an advocate for working out maybe some of the problems with and working with the pulp mill and provincial representatives. I wonder what you think you could, or what you could see yourself doing again on that portfolio if you were elected, and how you would try to move things forward to solve some of the issues that the pulp mill is facing.
Well, in September 2022, Canfor recently announced that it doesn't expect to consider restarting its Taylor pulp mill until next spring, based on ongoing discussions with the company's transportation partners. The supply chain backlog is not expected to significantly improve before the end of the year. I would trust Canfor is taking care of its employees until operations resume. Local government, at the local government level, the Resource Municipalities Coalition's Northern BC Rail Service Analysis Report is final, but not public pending copyright. I look forward to reading the findings, and I also support local government consultations with Canfor.
Okay. One final question for you, Peggy, and it's very simple. People listening to this in Taylor, deciding who they're going to vote for tomorrow when they hit up the ballot box. I wonder if you could tell us a bit about why you think they should vote for you.
New perspective, highlighting my almost 30 years experience in financial and personnel business management. 15 years of business ownership has given me the leadership skills and commitment to get the job done.
All right, Peggy. Well, we'll have to leave it there. I'm really grateful you took a few minutes to chat with us about this. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
You're
Appreciate
very
it.
welcome. That's Peggy Alexander, one of the two candidates up for the role of mayor in Taylor in the local government election. We'll be back to talk with Brent Taillefer, the other candidate, right after this on Moose Talks.
$15,000. That's how much you can save during Jandel Homes Fall Sale and Show Home Clearance. But there are only 34 homes available. These are brand new homes, ready for immediate delivery. That means you can be living in your new home this fall. Act quickly to save up to $15,000 on your beautiful new home during Jandel Homes Fall Sale and Show Home Clearance. Our new show homes are on the way, so these ones gotta go. Hurry before they're all gone. Buy your Jandel home today and move in before the snow.
Many people think that the only way to write off your debt is through a bankruptcy. Contact Beverly & Associates to learn how you can reduce your debt by as much as 80%, all while avoiding bankruptcy. Our consultations are always free, whether it's in person or from the comfort and privacy of your home. A fresh start is closer than you think, and no matter what your circumstances are, we have options for you. Visit debthelpbc.com for more information. We are Beverly & Associates, licensed insolvency trustees, and we can help.
Watch this show live on Facebook or download the podcast at energeticcity.ca.
Welcome back to the show. Now I had a chance to talk to the other candidate running for mayor in Taylor a little earlier today. His name's Brent Taillefer. He's been a councillor for quite some time, and we were able to sit down and chat with him a bit about why he's running for mayor. Here's that conversation now. Brent, thank you so much for being with me today. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Dub. I appreciate the invite to come on the show.
Absolutely. Well, let's start with why you've decided to run for mayor. You were a councillor beforehand. The former mayor, or the current mayor, I should say, is stepping down to run for mayor in a different town, as it turns out. Why did you decide that you wanted to, I guess, take a little bit of a promotion in your position and hopefully run for the big seat?
Well, I guess it started a few years ago. Our current mayor, Fraser, came to me and said that he was looking at moving on and moving to Fort Nelson, and thought that I would be a good candidate to be the next mayor. Also conversations I'd had with previous Mayor Jarvis. So in that, I really thought about it, talked to my family about it, and was a step that I wanted to make to be an advocate for Taylor and the people of Taylor. It's something, again, for 13 years, I've been thinking about and working towards, and really getting into the municipal politics as a councillor 11 years ago, and always being involved in Taylor and their public events and talking to the people, and realizing that I can be their voice, and they need it. Every town has a say, and if you don't use your voice, then you don't necessarily be heard.
Mm-hmm. What's kind of the big projects you maybe have in mind when you say I wanted to be mayor of Taylor? That whether it's something that happens annually, or is a kind of the part of the day-to-day life of the council and the mayor, or maybe something you want to start, or you'd like to move ahead in some way. What are you most looking forward to if you get elected?
So, of course, we're working on the asset management plan. That's all our buildings, our equipment, the infrastructure you can't see that's underground, our water, our sewer. It's critical infrastructure. And if we don't have water and sewer, it's pretty tough to run a municipality. So, we're going to keep on that road and make sure that's all good. There is some other things that I would like to see for sure. Seniors housing. I want to talk to BC Housing and see if there's some partnership or some way that we as a municipality can work with them to bring more seniors housing into Taylor. Aging in place is something that's very important to me for the citizens of Taylor to be able to stay here longer. Being pushed out of your community is not a good feeling for sure. There are some gaps in youth programs. It's things I want to look at and what the youth want to do, what they are. We want to talk to the youth. We want to engage with them and see what they want, right? We don't want to build something that won't be utilized. If you put $1 million into something that doesn't get utilized, it's not a good use of tax dollar money. So a lot of consultation is needed there for sure. There's projects, medical. We've been working on that for years, and it's not done. We're still working. Of course, the province, it feels like to a municipality that there's a lot of downloading that happens. Again, that's where we sit at the table with the ministers, and the squeaky wheel gets the grease, they say. So we call those meetings, we ask for them, we send letters, and and advocate on a level in Victoria or Ottawa if it's federal money, and we do receive federal money into the municipality in the way of grants as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you brought up the medical, because that's one of the few things I did want to definitely ask you about. Of course, the closure of the Taylor Clinic, a fairly big deal. I just wonder, and again, this is sort of out of your direct jurisdiction, other than being an advocate for the constituents of Taylor. But again, you talked about how you want to keep these meetings going and sort of reiterating to the government of BC and when it calls for it, the federal government, that Taylor requires these services that have been closing or have been downgraded or what have you. What do you see your role as an advocate, and is there maybe something you would like to do differently that maybe previous mayors didn't do that you would see yourself as an asset in this sense if you were the mayor?
So, Dub, we did more than advocate in this situation. We took on some of those costs through public consultation. We heard from the people. They're willing to put tax dollars into medical. Mm-hmm. So we did supply a staff, a building, the utilities, the equipment to the doctors. We have lost those doctors or that clinic for now. We are in talks with Northern Health. I think that we've tried telehealth. We were ahead of our time at the time that we did it. And I think that we can maybe circle back to that. We do have some of that equipment there still, and work with Northern Health because they are doing telehealth now. In initial conversations with Northern Health, it wasn't through them that we did the telehealth, and they felt telehealth wouldn't work. Well, fast forward to 2022, and so much can be done remotely. So we want to, I personally want to look at that again and talk with Northern Health and see if that's a viable option.
Okay. I also want to talk about the curtailment at the mill. It's happened many times in recent years. And I, again, wonder how you as mayor sort of support getting the mill back on its feet, making sure people have jobs, making sure that it's running, which includes the sort of situation with boxcars in the Northeast BC being a huge issue as well, the sort of not enough of them, the huge shortage of them. Again, what do you do as an advocate for people with jobs in Taylor who work at the mill to ensure that maybe happens less if we can, or maybe not at all if we can even make that happen? What do you see your role in that?
Well, for sure, the working people of Taylor are the backbone of our society, and it hits us hard, and municipalities across BC face many of the same issues. For us, again, we sit at the table with CN. We try to talk to them and advocate for our community. More rail cars, better rail, better movements. I've been in Victoria and talked to CN during UBCM and talk to them about the switches. And we went to our industry partners here and the pulp mill being one of them, and talked to them to say, what can we do for you? So of course, whether provincially we can get them a break, whether we can get CN to listen, whatever it is, we're willing to work with the mill to help it get running. We will continue those conversations with them, and we have been continuing those conversations with them.
Okay. And finally, we can't talk about Taylor without bringing up the bridge. So I wonder, right. First of all, if you could comment just on the consultation process that seems to be underway. We seem to be slowly moving towards possibly somebody announcing some money for a bridge at some point in the future. How do you feel about this consultation process? Do you think, thank God they're doing something, or we just need to move forward? What's the point? What do you think?
Well, public consultation is important, right? Engage early, engage often, and it's great to see the consultation. I mean, I'd like to see the dollars. Mm-hmm. They haven't put it into a plan yet. Nothing's been announced yet, but for sure, there's a lot of work being done. There's core samples being done. They've been doing work for over a year on the ground to see what's under there and what the options are for replacement. So I'm really happy to see the consultation. It is definitely a move in the right direction. We have, again, advocated to the provincial government, federal government as well, to help kick in some funds for this. It is a major corridor, not just to our area, but all the way north. And this is something that needs to be addressed. We see the fixing, the welding, and the repairs on that bridge. Something has to be done to that bridge to keep that corridor open.
Mm-hmm. And I guess my final question on this would be, I know here in Fort St. John, we often talk about how the bridge affects us in Fort St. John. But in Taylor, obviously you want it for all the people moving and the safety and all that, but it will affect the town, what happens with the bridge in the future, whether it's expanded or they build a new one, I wonder again, if you could speak a bit to your role again as mayor of Taylor to ensuring that the people of Taylor are heard on the issue of what happens with the bridge in the future and how it will affect the people specifically of Taylor who have to live with it next door to their town.
Right, and of course there's two sides on that bridge. So one of them is Taylor's side, and will they 4-lane through Taylor? It's a provincial highway, so we'll be at that table. Mm-hmm. We'll do public consultations with the people in Taylor, and we want to hear, what do the people of Taylor want? We have to keep our community linked on each side of that highway. We have to get our kids across safely to school, to friends' houses, to parks. It definitely impacts us a lot. So through the public consultation process ourselves, so that we can hear from the people of Taylor, what do they want us advocating for?
All right, Brent, we got about a minute left here, so I wonder if you could just take that time to speak to a voter in Taylor. Why should they vote for you, Brent?
Well, I believe I've prepared for this. I've put a lot of time and really tried to build it from the sense of talking to the people, being on council, knowing what I can do, and having that experience. I can represent the people locally. I can represent the people provincially, federally, at all those tables and places. And I really enjoy doing that. I believe in servant leadership, and I believe in doing it for the people. And I believe that we need more of it in our society and where we are. And a lot of people are busy, right? And I'm here to take that role for them.
All right, Brent. Well, thank you very much for doing this. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Dub. I appreciate yours as well.
And that was my conversation with Brent Taillefer, who's running for the mayor of Taylor, one of the two candidates running. We'll be right back to wrap things up on Moose Talks right after this.
Hey, little sis, what's new?
Just started a new job. I love it.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
I am now a BC Correctional Officer.
But you're tiny.
Dude, it's nothing like TV. The job is about communication, conflict resolution, and empathy, all of which I have, and I'm awesome at. Also, it's a stable government job with competitive salary, fantastic pension plan, and benefit package.
Well, that sounds awesome. Congratulations.
BC Corrections is actively hiring now. Be a role model. Be a peace officer. Join BC Corrections and create change in your community. Search us online and apply today.
Kev, you want your Big Mac?
No, not that box. Give me the other one. That one feels more lucky.
How can you tell?
My horoscope said the universe would smile on me today. I'm feeling a new car. Or maybe even 25 grand.
Fine. Then I get to choose my fries.
Wait. Give me the fries. No, the Big Mac.
McDonald's Coast to Coast Monopoly is back, with millions of prizes and cash just waiting for you. Get playing, Canada, and feel the thrill. While supplies last, chances of winning change as prizes are claimed. See rules at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada or at mcdpromotion.ca.
Are you looking for an exciting career in the world of gas turbines? Solar Turbines is hiring. Based out of San Diego, California, Solar is known throughout the industry for their outstanding customer service and products. Solar is looking to expand their team of field service representatives within Fort St. John and Dawson Creek. If you're looking for a challenging yet rewarding career, you are encouraged to apply at solarturbines.com. With competitive salary and benefits, Solar is seeking highly motivated individuals with relevant trade or degree background. To learn more about Solar, visit them at solarturbines.com.
The City of Fort St. John encourages all eligible residents to get out and vote. General voting day for our local government election is on Saturday, October 15th. Voting will take place at the Fort St. John Seniors Hall from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Voting is one of the most important things a citizen can do to make us a stronger community and ensure all voices are heard. So don't forget to get out and vote. For full election details, including a list of candidates, visit fortstjohn.ca/municipal-elections.
Is the sun bothering you while driving, hiking, or just in general? Visit the experienced staff at Merwin Optical and find your best fit for sunglasses with or without a prescription. They offer a great selection of glasses and sunglasses for every age, and the second pair is always 50% off. Along with great customer service, they offer 1-hour service on most prescriptions, site testing for adults 19 to 64, and direct billing to all major insurance companies. Visit them on 101st Avenue and see why the families in Fort St. John have been trusting them for their eyewear needs since 1987. People's Choice Award winner for best customer service.
Your little floop is too cute to go unnoticed. Upload the cutest, sassiest, or the most dapper photo of your pet for the Pet of the Month contest. You can upload your fur baby's picture at moosefm.ca/contests for your chance to win a $100 credit to the North Peace Veterinary Clinic. Entries close on the 14th, so what are you waiting for? Pet of the Month is presented by the North Peace Veterinary Clinic and 100.1 Moose FM.
Our community first. This is Moose Talks with Dub Craig on Moose FM.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and our guests Peggy Alexander and Brent Taillefer, the two candidates for mayor in Taylor. Speaking of candidates for mayor, tomorrow is voting day, so if you haven't cast in advance ballot, you'll be able to vote tomorrow here in Fort St. John at the Fort St. John Senior Hall between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Now, there's lots of candidates throughout the piece in Taylor, Fort St. John, and all that. We've had extensive coverage of the election over at energeticcity.ca. So no matter where you live in the piece, make sure you check that website out. You'll see a write-up of all the candidates we were able to interview for each of the positions, including school trustee. You can also watch old episodes of Moose Talks. We've spent the last month or so interviewing candidates for Fort St. John's mayor, PRD, electoral areas C and B, as well as this episode all about the mayor race in Taylor. So lots of resources to help you hopefully make the choice that's right for you tomorrow when you vote. That's it for this episode of Moose Talks. Trey Lopushinsky is the producer along with Jordan Prentice. I'm Dub Craig. Be well.
Join us next Friday at 10 a.m. for another episode of Moose Talks, a weekly talk show about Fort St. John and the North Peace.